people kind of talked about it in the actual live episode itself. So I just thought it would be good as a bonus episode for us all to talk about how we actually started watching P-Valley, because I don't think any of us started like season 1, episode 1, and we're like all in from the beginning. We all kind of became Framily and got hooked on the show at different points and a different kind of sequence of events. So I thought it'd be kind of dope to just talk about how each of us got here.
Okay. I like that. All right. So I guess I will start. So for me, like I said earlier in the live show, I didn't watch the whole season live with everyone else for season 1. I just think work and me, watching other shows, even though I saw it on the timeline, I just didn't know if I would like it, which is like really judgmental of me. But I was just like, oh, okay, P-Valley, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it's about strippers. I don't know. I mean, I love strippers, but I just didn't know if that's what I wanted to watch. But then it was season 2. It was season 2 coming up, and then I started paying attention, like watching interviews, cast, etc. And just watching every trailer possible, because y'all were going off on the timeline. I don't think Tia was there at the time. I'm not sure, but she'll let you know. But for me, I just started seeing everybody go crazy, and then come to find out they were on hiatus for 2 years. So I guess that was really the hype of it, to where I kept seeing it all on my timeline, trending, people going crazy. So I was like, okay, let's give this show a chance. And I just couldn't stop watching, and it was just addicting. And then, you know how with every show you kind of get in the hashtag and, just start communicating with other people. And then I just think it just became like a whole circle of people, some that were already there, but then some had just newly discovered the show. And I just think that we gelled really well. And then I think once we were like in group chats and everything else, it just seemed like me, Ja, Tamika, and Tia were just had really good chemistry, like in the chat type thing, And so I felt like, wow, these girls are super smart. They love the show. Their energy's great. I vibe with them. And I had a radio show previous, and I really liked that format. And so I just foresaw that this would be something really good for Framily, for the show in general, because even though we did get a season 3, it'll probably be 2024. So I was just like, okay. I told Ja, I was like, Ja, this is what I'm thinking. I'm fixing to make a logo. I started really getting on Ja's nerves. I know I did, because I was just every day trying to, we can do this, and look, and I want Tamika, and I want Tia. We have to do this, blah, blah. And it was like, Ja was like, okay, girl, okay, well, let's see. So I just basically bullied everyone to join me, basically. And now we're all co-hosts with different titles. And, yeah, and it's just great. So for me, that's kind of how it happened. I kind of just infiltrated the fandom because I was so obsessed and met you girls. So.
Love it, love it, love it.
Okay. So who wants to share next?
I guess I'll go next.
Okay, Tamika, cool.
So I came into the show during the pandemic, so they were still in season 1. I didn't start in the beginning. I think I saw it on my timeline. My timeline is pretty much a mix of, people from other fandoms that I followed, people that talk about sports, and people that talk about television. So I was seeing it on the timeline a lot on Sunday. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll get around to watching that eventually. And then some people were adding me like, you should really watch this. So I think I binged it over the course of, I want to say 2 or 3 days. I think it was the week that they skip. Don't they usually skip a show between episodes 6 and 7? I think I watched the first 6 episodes, and I finished on Friday. So Last Call for Alcohol, episode 7 was the first episode I watched live with everyone else on Sunday. And I watched Murder Night, and then I was in a 2-year hiatus waiting for season 2, and I watched it over and over again during that time period. I don't know. At any time that I was bored during the pandemic, I went back to P-Valley. So there's no telling how many times I watched it.
That's so crazy, Tanika. I have a question for you then. Hey, interview. How did it feel with that 2-year hiatus for you? Because as someone who loves Euphoria as well, like we're not coming back to 2024 too, and I'm like, oh my God. But for me, Euphoria is really not the type of show that I can digest like I do P-Valley. So how was that for you?
It seems like forever, but I don't know that I was like obsessed with P-Valley then like I am now. Like I didn't follow any of the cast after I finished watching the first season. I didn't go back and watch interviews. Like I love the show, but I don't think I was really obsessed with it until season 2 came around. But I mean, if I go back and pull up tweets, I know there are tweets like, I miss P-Valley, I miss Uncle Clifford and the girls, or, I'm bored, let me go watch P-Valley again. So I did all of that, and then season 2 came around. I don't think I realized it was even coming back until maybe like a week or 2 before. I saw, I don't think I saw the trailer. I don't know what I saw, but it was like, oh, here goes P-Valley, and I was back into it. I feel like I remember, we were following each other at this point, so I feel like I remember when you started watching it on my timeline.
Yeah, because you did chime in on my tweet. Yes, you did. You sure did.
So, and then, at some point during the season, I think the group chat started maybe at the end, like before the finale was the first group chat that came along. And then from there came your idea for a radio show. And I had told y'all before that the idea of doing a radio show was not something that I was ever comfortable with before. And I remember you being in the group chat and you were telling me about what you and, no, that was an individual DM. You were telling me about what you and Ja had thought up for the show. And I was like, oh, y'all are doing a radio show. That's cute. And you were like, no, bitch, not y'all, us. And I was like, oh, well, okay, I guess I'm doing a radio show then. And then here we are, I guess.
But then I want to say just a little, what do I want to say? Just a little background or a little, gosh, what do I want to say, you guys? So anyway, I'll just say it. Me and Tanika was in the group chat. I mentioned another fandom, and I won't even say what the fandom is. But anyway, I mentioned another fandom to her. And then she kind of gave the eye emoji. And it was like, what? And I was like, never mind. We went into our individual DMs and kind of found out this is Tanika that I've been knowing for like 10 years.
This is like maybe the fourth fandom. That was the first fandom, that fandom that we were in together. But you were also in the same fandom. and
Yes.
something else, Love Island also. So, yeah, this is the
Girl,
fourth
I was
fandom we've
in
been in
Love
together.
Island, Shameless. I had a page for Shameless, everything. But yeah, so that was kind of like exciting because I got ill in the last fandom and kind of just disappeared off the face of the earth. Like just completely disappeared. Didn't remember a lot of the people who was in that fandom, but man, I remember Tamika, and it's just been so great to like reconnect with her. But yeah, that's just a little side note for you people. I think
Backstory.
you said it. Yeah, a little. There you go, girl. After 2 hours of being on air, like my brain is just not even working. But yes, backstory. So, okay, all right. Ja, you wanna go? You wanna go next?
I can go next. So, I feel like my story is gonna be that one that's kind of like, what in the hell? So I don't really watch a lot of TV, and when I first saw the ads for P-Valley, I just feel like the ads did not do the justice to the type of show it really was. So all I saw was a bunch of ghetto bullshit language, and I was just like, I am not interested in the least bit in this. I'm like, this is a show about strippers, and I think they were talking about it was a drama, and it was, there was like money, and there was all these things going on, and I was just like, yeah, this is just something else to bring our people down, and I'm not gonna entertain it. And so,
ooh, you bragging, girl.
I had the lowest opinion of P-Valley when I saw the promotions for the show.
This is so interesting.
I think
to
I
me
felt
right
the
now.
same. Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm so embarrassed.
I didn't resonate with the trailer. I can't lie, but I didn't think of it like that. I just was like, oh, it's strippers. Okay. Yeah. So.
Oh no.
Go ahead,
I was definitely yeah. And so, the whole season had passed, mind you. So last year sometime, I want to say it was about April or so. I'm on Facebook, and I ran into, like, you know how they post the ads, like still checking the stars, you can catch it, blah, blah. And I see the people comment first. I didn't even look at the visuals. I saw the comments first, and they were all discussing the Lomerda Uncle Clifford situation, like whether he really was into her or whether he was just trying to, get his music played and fell in love with her later. And I was like, this is some interesting dialogue. And so then I decided to go ahead and watch the visuals that was attached. And it was the scene of them in the office. And on murder night, after he denied her, and they was going through that whole thing, and fuck you, you're the one who said you ain't want to fuck in the dark and all this shit. And I was like, damn, this is some real good acting. Like, this is some real intro. I said, I kind of want to know how they got here. So, out of pure Aquarian nosiness, I was like, I'm going to go figure out how they got in that office, because that scene felt so intense and so, like, I felt it. So I was like, let me go see. And then, so I started off, and I was like, okay. And I probably binged the show within a couple of days. And I ain't going to lie, y'all forgive me, sorry. I watched it on a pirate site at first. Just got it up, because my friend had told me to watch the show on this site, and then when I saw I could watch P-Valley on it, I was like, cool, I can see what it's about. So, but I paid for it now, just so everybody knows. So anyway, I binged it, and then I was just like, man, I don't know how this. I went back, and then I don't know, I was hooked, and I started like following all the cast. I started watching interviews. I started wondering about who does like I said, the cinematography. It was like crack. I was calling everybody I know, did you watch P-Valley? Because it was in the off season, so it wasn't like people weren't really talking about it. And I just felt like I got to talk about P-Valley. So I was calling everybody, did you watch P-Valley? Did you watch P-Valley? Who can I talk about P-Valley with? I started joining groups, and I really had came to Twitter to cross-brand my modeling. So when the second season started, I was on Instagram mainly following everyone, and they were like, oh, we're live tweeting. So then I started going to there to live tweet. Over the course, you know, we're all commenting and, you know, but I wasn't at first a joiner. So it was like, oh, we're in the group chat. And it was like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. I'm just here to live chat. But it just got so good. And then I just started making those connections. And then I was excited because I didn't have to go find people to talk about P-Valley with who wanted to talk about it in the same intensity and love for it and that I did. Like, I really felt crazy because other people weren't as excited about P-Valley as I was, and they didn't want to talk about it all day long like I did. So when I found the fandom, the Pynk Posse, it was like, oh, I done found my people. And then, you know, I got in the group chat. I think I was in the second group chat or something that was started. Got in the group chat, started making connections. And then, as far as the show is concerned, like, she tells y'all, like, I just knew for a fact I was a part of this from the beginning, and I did not. I thought she was just bouncing ideas off me for this thing that she wanted to do. And she was like, well, what do you think about this? And I was just telling her what I thought, you know, and I was just encouraging her, like, yeah, I think you should do it. And then one day she was asking me something, and I kept thinking to myself, why should she keep what she keep asking me for? Like, don't she know what she want to do? And it wasn't really obvious till, like, some random conversation later. And she's like, yeah, I think we could do this. And I'm like, oh, we're doing something.
All y'all thought I was trying to do this solo, and I told you I did the other radio show solo. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I felt like you, Tamika, Tia, we just all, it was just a different vibe, I think, energy with the show. And not only do we love the show, but we enjoy peeling back the show. And I think that's the difference. You know, you have people who watch the show, and if they're on the timeline, then, yeah, they love theories, and we peel it back too. But I just think we just all had a different vibe, I guess. And so that worked out. I think it worked out. I'm still pushing Tamika to do the IG and stuff, but yeah.
The IG is coming this week, girlie. This week.
Ooh. Okay. Not her dropping that on the bonus clip. Okay. Little bonus info, Tia. So Tia.
So mine is super convoluted. I'm listening to y'all, it's like, oh God, I'm super like from left field. So like that, I don't watch a lot of TV. Like, I've come to watch more, but I'm not a super huge TV watcher. I moved back to Atlanta like a week after the lockdown started. So of course everybody's in the house. I was not on social media like that. Like, I had accounts, but I quite regularly deactivate my accounts while I'm working and doing stuff. And I have never been in a fandom. I ain't never been in a group talking about a TV show. And most of the time, if I see it, people, like a bunch of people talking on social media about a show, I avoid it like the plague. I don't know what it is, but when stuff is super hype, I don't tend to like watching stuff with people like that. So I hadn't seen any ads. I wasn't following any of the cast. How I even found out about the shows, I had a screened-in porch in my old condo, and I had like a whole like living room out there. So I'm just sitting out there looking for something to, like, not necessarily looking for something to watch. I'm a person that rewatches old shows. Apparently that's something people with anxiety do. So I found that out because I'll rewatch like, because it's something I guess when we need to get for comfort, like, so we watch old shows. So that's what I typically do. So if you'll see me watching shows, it'll be like Martin or like something older that I've watched a million times. So I had gotten kind of bored like of that. So I go to Netflix and I see this P-Valley and I'm like, and then, you know, that does that flash and it says Pussy Valley and I was like, wait a Mississippi minute, Pussy Valley on Netflix? What is going on?
Did you say Netflix?
Or I'm sorry, Stars.
Oh,
but
baby,
I clicked over. It's all mine are under my umbrella. So I went and I was like, okay, so Pussy Valley. So I clicked it, like, no, nothing. I'm not, like, I have no idea what this is about. I haven't seen an ad. I haven't seen
no expectation.
A social media post. I'm literally like, what's this? So it starts, and at first I'm like, what is going on with this girl and the hurricane? And I almost clicked off there because it seemed real sad. And I'm kind of in this, like, I want more happy stuff on my screen. I haven't really been in the drama. But I kept watching it, and I liked the first episode. In my true fashion, my attention span is so trash. Even if I like a show. Like you guys notice when I talk about shows on the timeline, like I'll talk about it one day, and then I won't talk about it for like a month, and then I'll be watching it again like a month later, and it has nothing to do with liking or not liking the show. It's just how it works. So that's pretty much what I did with P-Valley. Like, I watched those 2 episodes. I was like, it was good, but since I don't watch TV like that, I really didn't go back to watch TV at all, let alone P-Valley. And again, I'm not on social media, so I'm at that time. So I wasn't on Twitter at all. Instagram isn't like Facebook and Twitter with shows and stuff, and I just wasn't on Facebook like that. So what actually got me back into the show, I've got a hetero male friend who grew up in the deep, deep South, and he's not homophobic, but he's definitely, he's got some preconceived notions from how he grew up in the deep, deep South. And so I would say queer averse is how I would describe him. Not homophobic, but definitely has some thoughts. And out of the blue, he texts me, and he doesn't know that I've watched any of the show. And he texted me a picture of, like, P-Valley, and he was like, this is a good-ass show. You should watch it. And I was like, because I knew enough about the show at that point. I'd probably watched 2.5 episodes. I knew enough that there were heavy, heavy queer storylines. So when someone I considered queer averse, texted me and was like, you should watch it, it's a good-ass show, I was like, these stories and this acting must be top tier A1 for him to be watching it like that and text it to me like that. So that's when I started watching it again. But I'll be honest, I am on my phone quite a bit when I am watching TV. So I got like the high points, but wasn't into it like everybody else. Then the 2-year hiatus came, and honestly, for me, I was like after 2 years of not. So when they announced season 2, I was like, oh, okay. I had no plans on watching season 2 until the end, and I was just going to binge it all at one time. Then that's when I was on social media a little more, and people started talking about the Teak and murder scene. And I mean, when I say talk about the Teak and murder scene, I'm in a bunch of different groups. I'm in like makeup groups, skincare groups, all different types of groups. Every single solitary type of group that I was in, whether it was TV related or not, was talking about this Teak and murder scene. So in my mind, it's still television. So I'm like, they have got to be like putting 20 on 10 about this scene. So that's what plugged me back in. I went and watched that scene, and I said, baby, because that scene to me was so goddamn hot. And I said, wait, how did they get here to this scene? So then I started watching that. That's when I started, like, super rewatching the first, and that's how I got into it. But, like, God, nobody in my world was talking about the show like I wanted to talk about the show. Because even the Teak and murder scene, like, I loved it. But, of course, I have so many different people in my life. I'm like, that's hot. And they looking me up and down like, that was hot. Like, so I couldn't have the conversations I wanted to have. Facebook, oh, my God, them groups were so just, I don't know what they be doing over there. So that's how I got to Twitter. I started looking stuff up. and I looked up P-Valley, and I came across Kogi and Tanika first. At this time, my Twitter page is totally private, so if I comment, you can't see anything because if you don't follow me.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no plans on getting into what I now know as a fandom. I just was like watching y'all tweeting, and I wanted to say stuff, so then I like cleaned up my page because I was originally on Twitter for some other stuff, and so I cleaned up my page and got myself so that it could be open, and then I started like chatting with you guys. And Tanika was like, we do a rewatch. I'm like, a rewatch every week? That's crazy. I ain't doing no damn weekly rewatch. And I was like, so what time is it again? Cool. So then I start rewatching. Then I'm seeing y'all, like, talk on the timeline all day. And I'm like, it ain't that much talking about P-Valley in the world. Next thing you know, I'm in the threads talking about P-Valley. So, and I kid you not, I'm talking to my best friend, and I'm like, they be talking about P-Valley every day. They in group chats. What the hell else do they have to talk about in a group chat that we not talking about on the timeline? I ain't never going to get in no group chat. Here comes Tanika. Hey, girlie, you want to join a group chat? I sure do. So now I'm in the group chat. And just like everybody else,
oh, my God.
She's talking about a radio show. Next thing you know, I'm on the radio show. And that part of the story is fuzzy to me because I have no idea how I'm actually on this show. But, you know, here I am, and I love it.
Wait a minute. Okay. So this is the thing with me. I'm always saying, who? Like, Tanika would be like, oh, I'm going to add such and such. I'm going to add such. And I said, who is that? Remember, Tanika, when you was adding Tia in the other one, in the other group chat, and I was like, who?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm always the who person. And you would, like, tell me, they're cool. Yeah, they're cool. They be on the timeline and da-da. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then when she got in the group chat, when Tia got in the group chat, yeah, ain't no way you could tell me that was your vibe before you started really getting into it. Like how you were in the group chat, like breaking stuff down and being obsessed and going on threads and doing the most. Like I would never know that was the case